Bible quote on the front page of the Chronicle. Stories include I selected supplier because I thought I could trust him. Bafo Bonny tells the court new voters register necessary. That's according to LMVC. NDC Iron Lady vows to unseat Joe Garte, and policeman dies in bizarre robbery shootout.
The New Crusading Guide has a photograph of the president and Boris Johnson, Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. They're having a tete-a-tete there. President woos UK investors. Ghana is an ideal place for business. Dufour still on police radar over Unibank saga. Bust to engage Parliament over proposed adjustment of levy. Those are the stories here.
Okay. Well, the Daily Guide is saying the UT Beige Bosses cases begins to take shape. GAF aircraft overruns apron. NDC blows over 9 billion Ghana cedis on Kumasi demo. Good news for locally refined gold. And that story about the policeman killed by robbers also on the front page of the Daily Guide.
Anyway, that story you just mentioned about the Kobna Dufour story is also on the front page of the Daily Statesman. Dufour father, son, and Isiama on the run. It's a question mark. Air Force investigates cause of jet overrun. Police pursue Unibank duo and ex-governor over sector crisis. The last story on the front page of the Daily Statesman is Let My Vote Count Alliance. People saying let's respect the EC's decision on voter register.
Well, if you want to know if your relationship will be successful, then you're supposed to look out for a certain 5 things as being reported by the Graphic. Showbiz, other stories, Nana Oforiata Eyim, a champion of change, and categorizing music destroys talent.
My last paper is the Daily Graphic. Daily Graphic also dealing with the elections and the voters register. New voters register compilation. EC says April 18 exercise to last till end of May. GS is revising the promotion process for staff. Robert Scale Corp IGP versus crime scene. Back page of the Daily Graphic. Assembly directs pedestrians to use Medina Adenta Highway footbridge, and refuse dam springs up on Graphic Road. The refuse dams here, they spring up everywhere in Accra, the capital. This is not very new.
Yes, I know, right? But I'm also staying on the back pages. So the Ghanaian Times back page, Environmental Sanitation Task Force inaugurated in Accra. Group demonstrates against mining of bauxite in Echua Forest. And on the front page of the Ghanaian Times, Ofori Sapong, others honored for contribution to national development. Angry youth on rampage in Ho. So they chased the DCE out of his office, set pickup ablaze over the death of a shopkeeper.
Anyone else go back?
I'm not done with the front page.
Oh, you have so many stories then. Okay.
Ghana enhances surveillance following outbreak of coronavirus infection in China. The last prosecution witness for the Major Mahama murder case has testified, and robbers gunned down cop, 4 others injured. Police post 10,000 Ghana cedi bounty. And now Malik.
Can you count the headlines in that story? On the front page
the number
of
the headlines.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.5.
And then Adazi and the Kuja Yankson have a name they give to these headlines on the front page.
A cornucopia.
A
cornucopia.
It's
Kojo's word, please.
Let's do the Daily Graphic front page story, which has to do with the voters register. Daniel, you want to do the
I just wanted to point out this thing on the front page of the Daily Guide, and it's related to what you're saying about the voters register. The NDC blows over 9 billion cedis over Kumasi demo. The Daily Guide quoted it in old cedis. It's actually 974,000 Ghana cedis.
Why did they mention it?
But we do that for drama. When you want to say something, you want it to be cornucopic.
Currency. That's not a
then
currency.
You take it back at 9 billion.
I can't really see it in up
because when I read the 9 billion Ghana cedis, I was asking, hey, so the NDC, do they have 9 billion Ghana cedis? To then blow it on.
I cannot imagine if they had that amount of money, they would be jostling for power. Anyway, the Daily Graphic is dealing with that story on its front page. Comes with a photograph of Jean Mensa, who is EC boss, EC chairperson, and it is the deputy chairperson in charge of operations who granted the Daily Graphic an interview in which he made revelations about the EC's program of activities for the year, starting with April 18 when they opened registration for the 17 million people who will seek to be given the right or to be given ID cards with which they can cast their ballots come December 7th this year. Now, Samuel Tete told the Daily Graphic that they started the process April 18. It's expected to end by May 30th. That's 43-day period. If after the 43-day period they believe that not all the people have registered, they will do a 5-day mopping up where persons who were not able to register within the 43 days can go to their respective polling stations to go and register. Now they are deploying 8,000 registration devices to 32,000 polling stations across the country. They want to do this in clusters, 4 polling stations forming a cluster. They intend to spend 10 days on each cluster. Now, if after the 10 days they realize that there are certain areas that have densely populated areas, these densely populated areas, the 10 days for a cluster of 4 polling stations may not work. So if that happens, they will allow some time for others to be able to register. So despite the protestations, and we know that some opposition parties against the compilation of the register, some 18 civil society organizations have declared their own opposition to this. The EC says where they have reached, it's point of no return, and they are going ahead with the registration.
The political parties themselves have suspended their demonstrations, saying that they are waiting for the eminence panel that the EC put together to finish its work because they are showing respect to them. In spite of that, yesterday there was a picketing at the EC office in the Upper East region at Bolgatanga. And they said that they had planned it already. So when we were reporting on the news, they said, yes, we acknowledge that our party members are saying
they had planned it already. I think the EC will say the same thing, that they have planned the registration already and they are going ahead.
Hey, Malik, it's a very serious thing you just said. It is actually the same justification that they are using.
Absolutely. Because once the EC cancelled the SEL contract, there's no way that we were not going to land where we are. The other point that I've seen in this interview that was granted by Samuel Tete has to do with those who already have voter ID cards. If you already have voter ID cards, you just go appear in your polling area and then you use it. They won't take your biometric, your bio data again because they already have that. They just take your fingerprints, your facial expression, and then
your facial. Okay, all right.
Then because they are adding.
And by facial expression, I don't think they mean smile.
Facial recognition, so that we can tell.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll see how that'll go. But a sad story which came out this morning. Is that we've lost another policeman, Lance Corporal Kingsley Boahin, who was stationed at Mankasim. So what happened was that some armed robbers went to a filling station and attacked those who were working there trying to get money and all of that. Some people who were around informed a nearby police patrol team which responded to the distress call. When the gunmen saw the police, they started to shoot at them. Obviously, the police also started to shoot back. And then this is where the story kind of diverges into about 3 different reports. So apparently they called for backup. So some more policemen came to come and join so that they could overpower the robbers. What is unclear is that Lance Corporal Kingsley Boahin, some are reporting, was off duty and heard that this was going on. So he was in his mufti and he was walking about 200 meters away from the filling station and got caught up in the gunfire. So we know for certain that he wasn't in his police uniform. So but we don't know whether he joined in the gunfire, whether he was just passing by, his motives for being there.
Yesterday when we were reporting this in the news in the morning, you did it on News Desk, right? Yeah, and on News Today. The question we're trying to answer was what the guy was doing there.
Yes.
And that's what's actually on the mind of the police as they investigate.
But is it even relevant? What he was doing there, is it
it's not necessarily relevant to the case, but I mean it was about 2 a.m. So it will definitely raise a certain sort of question. In the middle of the night, policeman off duty in mufti and then gets caught up in the crossfire. Nonetheless, I think that we will rest with the speculation, allow the police to continue with their investigation, and then let us know what happened. But our hearts go out to his family and of course to the police force who have lost one of their members. And there is a bounty, though, 10,000 Ghana cedis, if you were there, if you saw anything that would lead to the resolution of
It's sad that the year is beginning on yet another note of the killing of a police officer. Remember that last year about 5 police officers were killed on duty. One Lance Corporal Agata was killed in the northern region.
Yeah.
The 2 police officers with MTTD, Motor Traffic and Transport Unit, who were killed. Lance Corporal Jamasi and Awal, both of them were killed here. There was another one who was killed in the eastern region at a filling station. Quite a number, 5 of them were all killed last year. That's sad one. But let's go to money.
Yeah.
And again, so the police. The Daily Statesman is reporting that the police are on the lookout, or they are on a manhunt. That's what they claim. On a manhunt for Dr. Kobna Dufour, the founder of the now defunct Unibank, the former governor of the Bank of Ghana, former finance minister, whom it's being speculated is in the run for running mate of
for the
former
NDC,
President John Dramani Mahama, who is presidential candidate
and yes,
for the
they
next
can't
election.
find him. So what we are saying is that they can't find him.
That's what the Daily Statesman is reporting, that the police say they can't find him. There are police presence in his home. We know that in the course of the week we have reported a story in which he told the special investigative team that he was not honoring any invitation, that they should respect the law. He's gone to the law, filed an application for injunction against them, and he says that the police are harassing him, that this is a matter which is in court. He wants a perpetual injunction, but he's seeking an interlocutory injunction first so that he will stop the special investigative team and the police from harassing him. Nonetheless, the Daily Statesman is reporting that there are police officers around his house, the house of the Kobna Dufour Jr., who is the chief executive of the Bank, and Dr. Johnson Esiama, who is the deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana, who himself has also been rumored to be in the running for the running mate
for Mr. John Mahama.
So the report is that all 3 of them are wanted by police in respect of the investigations into the collapse of the Unibank and then other related matters.
Malik, go back about 5 sentences. So Dr. Dufour wants a perpetual injunction, but he's seeking an interlocutory injunction. Break that down for us.
Okay, so normally when interlocutory injunction is just a short one, just normally 10 days.
Okay.
When the court grants it, it lasts just 10 days, and after 10 days you have to go back and go and apply for extension. So if you and I were to have a contestation over a matter and I apply for injunction, the perpetual injunction is forever.
Okay, so I can never move against you in that matter.
Absolutely.
So the police may never be able to arrest the man.
But it will take some time to go into the merits of all the arguments I am making, on the basis of which I want the court to give me that injunction.
Okay.
Because it will take time. For the time being, I want an interlocutory injunction.
Whilst we are dealing with the main matter. Which is what Dr. Dufour wants now.
It's pretty much just leave me alone.
Yes.
It's a leave me alone situation. Leave me alone for now, leave me alone forever.
So he wants to leave me alone for now, while
until he gets the leave me alone forever.
Absolutely. We are sharp.
Yeah, I want an interlocutory injunction against a few people that I owe money. Just kidding. Let's move away from that story.
Okay, so yesterday we were talking about the coronavirus, which we're kind of anxious about a little bit, because it's broken out in China, and
it's moved to other countries now.
It has moved to other countries, a few other countries. So I was telling you about the fact that the Minister of Health had said that Ghana was enhancing surveillance following the outbreak.
Yeah.
So today, in the Times, not much different from what I said yesterday, and I wanted to highlight this because of the fact that I'm like, even though they have said they're enhancing surveillance following the outbreak, there doesn't seem to be that much detail on exactly what's being done. So according to a statement issued by Mr. Kwekwa Jiman-Menu, the Minister of Health, he has said the same things that I said yesterday. Health facilities have been alerted to prepare and manage cases. In a case of an outbreak. He's also asked that passengers from China are going to undergo thorough screening procedures, including the administration of a health questionnaire. Now, is it passengers just coming straight from China? Is it passengers who have gone through China and then gone to other countries and come here? What about the United Arab Emirates, Japan, South Korea, the other countries that have shown that the virus is there?
Okay.
So those are the questions on my mind. And also the putting out of, washing of hands with soap, rubbing alcohol, and all of that. So I still have questions.
Let me make 2 quick additions to what you're saying. So in the statement, even in the statement from the Health Ministry, it's not just China that is affected. There's Thailand, there's South Korea, there's Japan, and there's United Arab Emirates. If you look at Dubai, United Arab Emirates, we do a lot of business with Dubai.
Yeah, we do a lot of transits with Dubai
through
as
Dubai.
Well. Yeah.
Yes. So to prevent an outbreak in Ghana, passengers from China are undergoing enhanced screening. What about
That's what I was saying.
UAE?
Those who are going
it's a very good
transit,
question. But in China, though, in China, it's in the Wuhan province. Yes, I was reading on the BBC News app this morning that actually they have cordoned off the Wuhan province in a way. They are not allowing anyone in or out. Yes, and they are asking that people. They have actually issued a sort of a similar alert there, where people are supposed to take specific measures. Now, if you're listening to me and you want to know what to do, I mean, yesterday we went through it, but let's just go through it once again. Wash your hands with soap and water regularly. Hand rubbing with alcohol is also advised where available. Yeah, or hand sanitizer, thank you. Keep a distance of at least 1 step, that is 1 meter from a person, showing signs of fever, cough, and difficulty in breathing. If you're in contact with a sick person or potentially infected surfaces or objects or cares, those involved must not touch their eyes, nose, or mouth with unwashed hands. It's also advisable to be physically active, drink plenty of fluids, eat well, reduce stress, and have enough sleep. Can I send this to my boss so that he knows? Anyway,
because salary will deal with all of those things.
It also says people should seek treatment immediately if infection is suspected, if symptoms occur, or when advised by a health
I'm also
worker.
curious about how well our hospitals are equipped to deal with this in terms of quarantine, in terms of sectioned areas, in terms of medication, in terms of and in terms of even testing. But the minister also said that Noguchi has been they are expecting samples and stuff. They're ready to receive samples and stuff if any of that comes up. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we will. Because
this is a contact thing, because it's a contact disease, we need to be very careful, especially in the hospitals. Sometimes even the health personnel put themselves at risk when they are dealing with these issues. But Malik, let's quickly touch on a couple more before
Ghana Air Force investigating the
breach of the apron,
of their CASA 290, CASA C295. I happened to be in one of these casas when we're going to Tamale for the independence celebration.
Oh yeah,
I don't remember whether
it was.
I don't know whether it was this same CASA 295, but it was a nice smooth flight.
Yeah, the one you went without me.
Yeah.
You mean the one we went without?
And we were happy with
it.
Yeah,
the one you went without.
Oh, we missed anyone.
Yeah. So this is an aircraft which was manufactured in November 2015, delivered to us in 2016. The Ghana Air Force say they have informed the manufacturer's Airbus to send a team to join the team that they have put together to do the investigation. They already have put together a preliminary investigative team, given 48 hours to find out what happened to because they were doing a routine testing, a routine flying when this thing happened.
Okay.
They say that all the people involved, they were not passengers, it was just the crew members, and everybody is safe. But they want to be sure that they are certain that there won't be any problem, that the aircraft is recoverable in spite of the crash.
All right. That's it. Well, Malik, I think you'll be interested to know that an environmental sanitation task force has been inaugurated in Accra. The Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources have inaugurated a special task force on environmental sanitation to help with the government's vision of making Accra the cleanest city in Africa. So this is what they're going to do. Okay, the first is this is the committee will be made up of the Ministry of Works and Housing, Health, Local Governments, Rural Development, Roads and Highways.
Can I ask you a question?
Wait, tourism, culture, creative arts.
Yes. Do you believe that this will achieve the results for which it's been set
up? The results are to assess. It depends on what the results are. The results are to assess the current solid waste management challenges and propose solutions, coordinate and monitor performance of the various metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies. And this is what I was talking about, the story, you see. Because, yes, it's nice to have this overseeing body, of people who will sit down and deliberate and talk about things. But in our Clean Ghana campaign, we realized that it's really just about enforcement. It's about having people on the ground, going to the market, checking on them.
What is the function of the metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies? What is their core function?
No, these people are the overseers. So there's overseers for the overseers.
It's a serious
Assemblies,
thing.
what's their core function?
Malik, you're asking a very, very important question, I must say. However, it's time to move on. Now, we have some more education on this small injunction class we had this morning. Interim injunction is normally for 10 days, like Malik was saying. Interlocutory injunction normally lasts for the period of the trial of the case, and a perpetual injunction is normally granted at the end of the trial of the case to last forever. So, interim injunction, leave me alone for 10 days. Interlocutory injunction, leave me alone till the trial ends.
And perpetual is leave me alone forever.
Just go away, generally in life. Alright, it's time for the online review. Ghana, are you ready? Fight All is on a search on earth. Great talent in cooking, and it's on a mission to make dreams